That's the perils of streaming.
Hello.
The closed caption's pinging, so. Not you, though.
Huh.
That is odd.
That is strange.
No. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. We got it.
All right.
We made it.
Okay.
We made it. Made it.
Christ.
We're all here. We're ready.
We were very prepared.
Yeah.
Hello.
We were. Hi. We were very prepared this morning. Don't worry about it.
Thank you everybody for tuning in to Dumb Kids Playing Hero, a Standing Stones actual play production focused on communal world building and having fun with friends. Today we're doing a question and answer session with listener questions. Here with me we have August.
Hello, I'm August. For several years now I have played Adrian. You cannot find me on Twitter anymore, but you can find me on Blue Sky at Harpydora or on Tumblr at Strange Harpy.
Mac.
Hi, I'm Mac. I did take a break in the middle there, but for a while I did play Ariel, and you can find me... at this point, you know where you can find me. I'm not saying it again.
Jade.
Hi, it's Jade. I played Kel amongst other characters on this delightful experiment that we call Dumb Kids Playing Hero, and it's fun to be here at the end of it to chat shit and shoot the breeze.
Richard.
Hi, I'm Richard. I played Vinny through all of this crazy, chaotic mess. I really can't be found on the internet anymore, so yeah, good luck.
And Brian.
Hi, I'm Brian. I played Dante throughout the course of this, and just like hear me out. So like if Tony Khan and Triple H worked together, they really could turn this entire situation into like this bankroll.
Brian, I love you very much.
Because I'm gonna ride this. I'm gonna ride that website into the ground like it's fucking Doctor Good Love. At Roomware Pod. We still have a Patreon. You can't get episodes of this show early there anymore, unfortunately. I'm working on figuring that out. But whatever. Fucking roomwarepod.cash.
And I'm Danielle. I have been the GM for a hot minute. I also wrote this game. And everybody did great. And it was everything I wanted it to be. So... we landed the plane, everybody. Yay!
Yay! Way more successfully than I expected us to.
I had faith in us.
I didn't.
That was so convincing. I almost believed you. Like,
I was expecting at least one character death.
I mean,
well,
technically.
Alright. So, I have collated the questions that you all have sent us into a Word document, kinda, sorta, by general topic. And we're just gonna go down the list. These are no longer in any sort of order that you submitted them in. So if you submitted a whole bunch of questions, don't expect them all to be one right after the other.
Are we saying that if people get inspired to ask a question during the stream, to drop it in chat, and if we get to it, we will get to it?
Yes, absolutely.
I'll keep an eye on the chat and try catch any
Thank
that get dropped in and put them in our text chat so we don't.
And if we don't get to them in the stream, I'll at least answer whatever answers come to me in the Discord server. So you should join the Discord server if you aren't already there.
You definitely should join the Discord server.
Yeah, we have a thread running that we took questions in, and any questions we don't get to or that come up later, we can just answer there. So it's easy. It's nice and easy to find.
Yeah. Okay. So, first off, we have things that surprised you. From Dirk. What was a misunderstanding / mishearing that caused the game or a character arc to go in unexpected directions?
Lol. So y'all remember that conversation that Dante and Ariel had at the beginning of season 2 about collateral damage?
Yes.
I found out like 3 or 4 months later that I completely misunderstood what Brian / Dante was trying to say to Ariel. I do not remember now, but I know that it was a complete misunderstanding. And I said, fuck it, I'm gonna roll with this.
Mm-hmm.
And, look, the Ariel plot was already in place by that point, but it sure didn't help.
I think the biggest misunderstanding, really kind of affected like a large trajectory of the show in general was Ariel pretending to be dead.
Yeah, that one too.
I feel like we weren't all on the same page about that.
You thought this was a Q&A. What this is going to be 2 hours of us all dragging Mac and Danielle for that particular tournament. No, we've got other questions.
I'm big shrug emoji right now.
It was worth it. I have no regrets.
Neither do I. I'll get into that a little bit later too.
I can't think of any like misunderstandings that were based on like misheard stuff, because we tended to pick stuff up if we needed to clarify, or like mid recording we'd be like, yo, hey, can I just get that again?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the key thing is you guys just don't hear a lot of the clarifications because I cut them.
That'll do it.
Like when we're like, hey, what did you mean by that? And we're like, oh, this. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to cut that. Yeah, we're going to get back up. I edited around to where we are on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've edited out, like, 10-minute sequences where we were off on the wrong shit, and then we went back and we decided to go do something different, and then I just edited it together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You heard it here, folks. Brian can and will edit stuff out. He just
Yeah, it's true.
not do it.
Yeah.
The reason why you don't think I do is because I only leave the unimportant shit.
Yep. Anyone else? Cool. From Becky. Is there any points in the story where players, Brian, did something unexpected which had you change the direction of the plot? I stopped planning things very quickly.
This is what happens when Brian is one of your players.
Yeah.
There's also what
Coming
happens
from
when
the
Brian's...
person that killed Vissa 3. Well, a lot of them.
Yeah, but like that was a one-off unexpected thing. I actually didn't expect a crit there. The hey, if I crit, can I kill him thing was a joke.
Yeah. And then I committed, and then I had to
And
deal
then you
with
committed.
I had to deal with the consequences of my own actions.
For the record, there's also, I believe, a section of the episode where we're like, Danielle, you don't have to do this. That I cut.
I said that to Danielle. I said, Danielle, you don't have to. And Danielle was like, no, I'm gonna.
Yeah. See, the thing is that it was a very interesting difference. And at that point, I was still looking for ways to cause our game to veer off from canon.
Well, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Turns out all you really have to do is wait a little bit.
Yeah. But that was, I think, the first really big thing that really caused a diversion. So I'm not sorry about it. But it was unexpected because I don't think any of us expected Ariel to crit there.
This is the way of the dice, you know?
Yep.
Listen, I think I've said this a number of times before, but when you play like a Forged in the Dark system or Powered by the Apocalypse or anything that's not like basically just D&D, just walk in with a bullet point list of things that you know you need to hit, and that's all you need.
Yep.
And that's all you should bring.
Yep.
Because there's no reason to have a plan.
Yep. Exactly. I generally had basic ideas for missions, and that was it. Everything else was 100% on the fly because I could not plan for the kind of shit that y'all did. You know, like donating a whole bunch of morphed Hork-Bajir blood in order to do weird shit with a truck. I don't even know how that worked out anymore.
Insert Hangman Page gif.
But yeah, it that was the first one, the first big one that I can remember. Everything else was just kind of like, this may as well happen. Everything's already so goddamn fucked up. Cool. All right. The heading for this one is things you didn't get to do. From Shrog, were there any notable NPCs, either in my notes or in the players' backstories, that got left on the cutting room floor? I personally tried really hard not to create a whole bunch of NPCs ahead of time, and tried to pull from player backstories wherever possible. That said, I definitely did not use every NPC from everybody's backstory.
Really?
Somehow.
Listen, Richard, I have a whole list of your fucking 12 family members.
14.
All right? Many of whom I did not use.
Listen, I still think I've killed more members of Benny's family than Danielle ever did.
This is true. You are the reason that Emmeline LaFontaine died.
It's true. I just want it to be known at the end of the season who was at the top of that ranking board.
Yeah, Brian wants his credit.
I get bonus XP when we start the next season.
God, yeah.
Like I didn't want to start off in bronze. I want to start off in silver.
Now I'm just thinking of that one fucking Animals audio, which is ranking the number of deaths, kills.
That's a great video.
It is such a good video.
Jesus.
You would think it's Rachel. It's not.
It's not.
Somehow.
By a
War
lot,
crimes
in fact.
War crimes complicate numbers.
They do.
Speaking of like character or player backstory NPCs, we only briefly, I think there was like one on-screen appearance of Kel's roommate who was part of the sharing. And I think it was not even on screen, but an off-screen mention of their academic advisor, who were characters I'd fleshed out in my head, but there just wasn't need or even really an opportunity for them to sort of come up organically, and it wasn't something that was necessary with everything that was going on. But they were there, and yeah, one of many things that just live in my head in way more detail than is actually needed. So.
For my part, I kind of shot myself in the foot with this one just because I had some family dynamics in my head that never really got on screen, especially like Adrian and his dad being really distant. And I'm also sad that we never really got into any of the sharing stuff. I think that could have been very interesting. From the perspective of just like where Adrian went as a character, what he would have done there, but those are the two things that spring to mind for me.
Yeah, the sharing stopped being relevant relatively quickly.
Yeah.
Because y'all are fucking gremlins.
Gremlins. Yeah.
Gremlins is a good way of describing it, yeah.
I don't know. I don't think there's anything from Dante's loose backstory that I very much have characters where I like loosely throw together a backstory and then just invent them a whole cloth from there. So like Dante had like a rival hacker that just disappeared as soon as Kel started existing. Like it's like, oh, I don't need this.
Yep. Yep. What about you, Richard? Are there any family members that you wish I would have pulled in?
Yeah.
Oh God, no.
Feel bad. I feel like I could have knocked off a couple more members of Benny's family.
I feel bad. I feel like I could have done more.
Yeah, but once you took out Emmeline, all of them after that were just kind of, eh.
Yeah, it's true.
She was the load-bearing NPC.
Yeah, she was in fact. All right. From Sean, if you could go back and do this entire podcast over from the start, is there anything you would have done differently? I probably would have included Jade sooner. And also, I feel like I learned a lot about the game and how the game plays, and also how to be a GM for this kind of game. So doing it over would be interesting if I started with all of that experience and knowledge.
Of course, then you would have us who have also gained experience and knowledge with this system. So you're still behind the curve, Danielle. I kid.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, the efficiency with which we could play this Forged in the Dark system, I
Yeah.
think on a roll would be just scary. Like we would probably have the Yerks killed in a season.
Yeah. But also,
we got pretty efficient like halfway through anyway.
Like, the thing is that Forge in the Dark games aren't really meant to go on this long.
Because that's why all of our characters were literally on the, like, you know, if you keep track of the character sheets, all of our characters are on the verge of just being completely useless. Like,
honestly, if I hadn't rolled a 2 for Ariel's, like, Ariel was on the verge of traumaing out when I killed her, right? Like, she was, like, 3 stress away from having 4 full trauma. Like, I could have done that if I hadn't rolled that 2.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, yeah, Forge in the Dark games, and the characters especially. We joke about Brian speedrunning Forged in the Dark, but Brian's playing Forged in the Dark the way you're meant to play it.
For real. Yep.
Characters are supposed to be disposable. Like, that doesn't mean you don't get attached to them, but they're supposed to be played like a sports car or like a race car. Like, you're gonna crash it into a wall eventually.
Mm-hmm. Which is part of the reason I chose Forged in the Dark for Idiot Teenagers with a Death Wish.
Mm-hmm.
It works.
Yeah.
As a system, it's perfect.
So this is possibly going to be an unpopular opinion, but I don't think I would have played Adrian. Like, if we went back to the start and started everything over, I don't think I would have played Adrian, because there were a lot of points where, like, there was so much tension between him and the rest of the group, and it was really difficult for me to force him back into alignment with the rest of the group. You know, there are a couple of points where he probably, like, if I'd been playing him really truly, he probably would have walked away. And some of that stuff just wasn't fun for me, so I'd probably play someone else entirely.
Yeah. The thing with Adrian, one, I'm gonna quote Max, incredible Ariel plays Just with God fic, but Adrian is the king, the linchpin, and it almost happened on accident, and he is like the quintessential proof that this system actually works, because that's what the heart is supposed to be.
Like, as I read the books with Danielle for Escafil Files, and I saw time and time again how August's playing of Adrian was so like Cassie in a way that was compelling and deeply distressing in the most interesting way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad, August, that you didn't back away from that, but hearing you say, like, Adrian would have walked away. Cassie tries to walk away so many times in the books. And, like, you really did without... And this is true of everybody. We've talked about it most as a group with, like, how, at least at the start, before veering off very differently, how similar Ariel hews towards Rachel.
Accidentally.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, without the intent behind it. But it gets a little bit muddy with some of the others because of how much, like, sort of interweaving between group roles some of the other characters got. But there were definitely instances where it was uncanny.
Yeah. Yeah. And I had to be over here GMing with a straight fucking face.
We don't put on cams.
Because I couldn't spoil anything for Jade.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm just dying.
I think the consensus here is that, August, we understand and respect your decision, but holy shit.
Yeah, no, August, you were incredible. You did such a great job with Adrian, and I don't think I could possibly say that enough. You did a great job, and I totally say it was very, very difficult and you wouldn't do it again, but I am glad you did do it.
Good question from Jerk in the chat. Do any of you wish you could have had a character legit die or trauma out so you could make a new character or stat up a current NPC?
No.
No.
It's a good question and a compelling one, but no. I wouldn't want to have done that story as anybody else.
Yeah. You know, I say if we started over, I wouldn't play Adrian again, but I can't imagine playing someone else doing the story that we did. Although I did fully have planned out what was going to happen if Adrian traumatized out. Like,
one thing I would do differently is if I knew I was going to be playing Kel as a long-term thing. Every time I mention this, everyone's like, Jade, you should have known that we weren't going to let you leave. And I'm like, I did not go in thinking that was going to be the case at all. Yeah, fucking egg on my face. But I wouldn't have felt comfortable playing somebody who sits on so many different intersections that I am not on. Like, I love Kel as a character, and I'm really proud of the story, and I made a point to do my research and everything to make sure I was being respectful of experiences that aren't mine. But at the same time, if I'd rocked up on day one, like, hi, here is my OC. They are, imagine if Newton Herman from Pacific Rim had a Irish Pakistani offspring. It's super cool with dyed hair and lots of piercings. It's big. My first OC is so cool. It's just that they're a nice enough person that it was not too much of an issue. But I made them to be very wish fulfillment-y and very, like, self-indulgent in a way that I try not to be with my long-term characters.
It's very good is the thing.
And you wonder why I fell in love with them.
I think the thing that, like, tempers Kel's existence coming in, like, Kel doesn't seem OP because, like, Dante had already at that point, I'm just like, I'm exploding fucking guns with screwdrivers and shit like that at this point already because I just only roll the one thing I'm good at the whole time.
Yeah, like Jade and I had lengthy conversations about like what Kel being in for a short period of time would look like, and then it didn't.
There was some fun conversations.
Yeah, it really didn't feel like it fit at any point, and I was just like, what if we just didn't kill them? Actually,
Yeah, like
Wait,
we
that was
talked
the
about.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
The
my
plan,
god.
the plan was actually for them to be killed because they got stuck in their storage
the
container,
studio.
and then it
That
was
got
sunk.
dropped into the harbour. Yeah.
Oh my god. I
Wow.
would've killed both of you.
Yeah, it didn't feel right.
Dante
Like,
would have
that
been
was-
insufferably fucking edgy the entire time for the rest of the game.
That was then the idea, like they were going to be there for maybe a mission or two
Yeah.
as somebody that could give information,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was a way of upping the stakes
Yeah.
for the other player characters. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this cool ally who could be really useful. Oh, the Yerks have killed them.
Yeah. But Kel just meshed very, very well with everybody, like right off the bat. And it just didn't feel right to do it, so we didn't.
So there you go, some insider knowledge. Forgot that nobody else knew that.
Yep.
Road less travelled.
Does anyone else have any, if you were to play it over again, you would do it different?
Nah.
Mm-mm.
Word. Love to hear it, frankly. Alright, from Daniel. For those familiar with the books, what is a storyline or quote-unquote mission from one of the books you wish you could have done? To me, the mosquito
Okay.
storyline would have been fun. And then Jade also asks, are there any events from canon Animorphs you wish there had been opportunity and time to riff off of? And as Jade answers, I'm going to put a screenshot of my notes here on the screen, hopefully.
So for me, I really liked a lot of the weird stuff they did with morphing tech. It's not a great episode, a great story, but there's one where Rachel acquires crocodile morph and turns out to be allergic to the crocodile. It's very stupid.
It's
And then
very
she
funny, though.
But she ends up like effectively growing an entire crocodile off herself. And then there's just a crocodile running around. That's an episode where they invade a TV studio. It's great. It's very stupid, but like more weirdness with the morphing side of things would have been super interesting to me. One of the gang getting yerked, but everybody knowing about it. And just having to wait it out. It's a pretty early book in the series is Jake gets yerked, and just somebody then having that experience of a like a 3-day hostile effectively takeover by a yerk. I think would have been really interesting, especially with the way this group, especially in the early days, was so anti-yerk, and how that conflict between that devotion to each other and that need to fight the yerks. And lastly, and this was another thing that could have happened with Kel, a David arc would have been incredible with this group of characters, but also because they're older than the kids. That said, with this group of characters, they would have just killed him really fucking quickly.
Yeah, they would
He
have.
would've-
Yeah, we would have.
Seeing that on screen, just showing where these guys were, and that willingness, like not a yerk, not anything like anybody powerful, just a fucking another college student who was up in their shit and could risk everything.
Yeah.
And just what it would mean for them to kill somebody their own age.
Just Dante and Benny walking back onto the boat. I don't know, he fell. I don't know what to tell you.
No, Ariel in the background. No, I fucking killed him.
He was there before the rough seas last night. We haven't seen him this morning.
I saw him at the bottom of the fucking harbor.
The fucking cadence in which you said that, Mac, was giving me big Zakayama.
Yeah, I killed him.
Yeah, I killed him.
I
Perfect.
killed him.
So what I have on the screen here is at the beginning of the game, I made a list of a whole bunch of possible plot hooks that I thought might be interesting to have on screen, and went through and crossed them out as they became relevant or came up. So we've got feel a supply ship overhead while flying, which Jude ran into. Find a Yerk pool entrance. The Yerks have infested an entire hospital staff / wing / floor and are turning patients into controllers. A logging project in the wood as a cover to find the quote-unquote Andalite bandits. A famous celebrity is going to be Yerked. They find out where the Kandrona is. Oatmeal in all capital letters. Zero space yoink, which is the mosquito plotline. Underwater project / Lyran soldiers. Kind of came into play with some Lyrans, but mostly not. Esplin Lesser luring Yerks to cannibalize, which is a fucking wild storyline. An ambassador summit. The Yerks are building something important, but it's very far away. The trial of Visser 1, question mark? Anti-morphing ray. Discovery of Visser 3's feeding place became irrelevant because we killed Aloran. Andalite Black Ops mission, which happened. That was the asshole Andalites. And the Velik. Which just didn't feel like it mattered. Or there was no point to introduce it. It would have been very out of left field.
To Sean's question about adapting the morphing allergies given the morph limit, I feel like if you're allergic to a morph, you would just it would just not get added. You would just get to wipe it back off your list for free.
Yeah.
And then pick up something different.
It would be on your list. It would be stuck on your list until you undergo the Hereth Illant. And then you could wipe it off your list finally. That's how I would do it.
I want you guys to know the amount of times that I pitched to Danielle that we should. The little gray ones are the Helmicrons, right?
Yep.
No.
Yeah, the number of times I asked Danielle for Helmicrons.
Listen,
that gets into the next question, to be fair. What about the Helmicrons?
Yeah.
The answer is
I wanna pause really quick because Sean says okay, but I really want to know how all the characters will react to Yerk cannibalism.
God, that book is buck wild.
It's so weird.
Fucking hell.
So the way that works out in the book is that Visser 3 has a twin.
what?
Who has figured out how to, because when Yerks are born, they're born in like the hundreds, and it was just one grub that became two grubs, and you have a greater and the lesser, and the greater one went on to become the Yerk we know as Visser 3, and the other one kind of was shuffled off. Is implied to be Bill Gates.
Oh, okay.
Or some
Justin
other
Timberlake was a ravioli of oatmeal. So.
Yeah, or some other like big tech mogul. And he figured out how to live without Kandrona, and the answer is you have to eat other Yerks.
That tracks, yeah.
Okay. And you get the Kandrona from their bodies.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
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 Brian and me both over here going, yeah, no, the logic makes sense.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He did this by luring controllers to his location and then killing them, cracking open their brains, and eating the Yerks out of their brains.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, totally normal.
Legit. Yeah.
It is so good. Benny never knew that was a thing.
Would Benny have tried that?
I'm concerned by the silence.
I just already through the
froze again, and I was like, what?
No, froze. I'm just running through the permutations.
Yeah, okay.
Also, like, imagine, like, this group of maladjusts hearing, oh, there's a Yerk out there that will just take other Yerks off the table. We should make an ally of this guy.
Yeah, literally.
I really don't think they would have been that chill about it, considering he was actively killing people.
Yeah,
that's the only thing. That's the only thing, is that there is the problem of
Yes, thank you,
he is
Sean.
killing the hosts. Ah, well,
Tell you what,
it was worth a shot.
That does remind me of another element I really liked in the books that we didn't really there just wasn't an opportunity or a need for it to pop up, but people like us being able to go in with our current sensibilities and aware of fucking sanism and ableism and look like people who were yerked in the past and the effect it's had on their mental states. And there's this one guy from the side book Vissa whose the yerk was forcibly removed from him and a bit of yerk got stuck in his brain and it's permanently screwed his brain chemistry up, which was something that was very much in my mind when we were talking about
Dr. David.
what is it? Yeah, I was just Dr. David, but also I'm just thinking that I was going to say time virus. Nope, that's not. That's more of a Doctor Who thing. Topical, but
The quantum
it was
virus.
something that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
But that was something that I was aware of when I was there with Kel. Like, we don't know what effect destroying something attached to the brain while in the brain would do to the host. That was a big part of what was in my thinking about it. Oh God.
Yeah, no, Sean's right
It's a
there.
ravioli of yerks. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
To answer the question about the Helmicrons, they were too silly. By the time I could have introduced them, the problem that I have with the Helmicron books in the canon is that it is a very jarring departure from tone.
Yeah.
And, like, in some ways that's kind of necessary because things get very dark and you need a breather, but at the same time, they have so many other weird-ass missions that can serve as a bit of a tone break that the Helmicrons, especially the second time the Helmicrons appear, it just sucks. The first time is funny. The second time it sucks.
I'm just thinking about horses using the telephone, though. That should have happened.
Yeah, I don't think I yerked any animals.
Animorphs, yeah, the only Animorphs book I've ever read
is that one.
Is that one, yeah.
That is an incredible episode of Escafil Files to listen to.
It is.
Never listened to any other one. Where we got Brian in just to react as Danielle and I talked through the book. It was incredible.
Because the wait, that actually happens? It's very funny.
Because like previous to that, and still currently, all the Animorphs knowledge I have is gleaned from like Google image searching things, like the Transformers toys, which I want to own one of.
I have one. I have the Tobias
Which one do you have?
I have the Tobias one.
Yeah.
Surprising
okay.
no one.
Yeah. No, I just want the Visser 3 one. It's awful.
Oh no, it's terrible. Yeah.
It doesn't look like anything in either direction.
Nope. And the one of Jake, like the one of Jake in particular, looks like a grown ass man. Like they all look way older than the 13 they're supposed to be, but Jake in particular is really bad. Yeah, we never addressed Dr. David. As far as the end of the series goes, he's still on the boat. So
don't worry about it.
You know, that's fine, I'm sure.
Yeah, as from what I recall, the original plan had been to like drop him off in China and maybe give him some cash and let him fend for himself somewhere, you know, where he could theoretically not do very much harm. But we never got around to addressing him.
Okay.
Sean asks, was his name a deliberate reference? I kind of froze up when I gave his name when he gave his name in the podcast.
I think
no.
it was just because Malia named.
Yes,
him,
Malia
right?
named him. And I did the same thing when she named him. I was like, oh fuck.
Listen, David is a very common name.
It's true. It still makes me flinch.
Yeah, in the animals,
No, yeah,
in an
100%,
animals
just-
context, yeah.
Yeah, in an Animorphs context, the name David is just so loaded. But I had to go with what Malia named him, so. Alright. From Dirk, what's something you want the world to know about your character that either never made it on screen or didn't get as much time as you thought it might?
I cannot go into detail about all the stuff I have sussed out about Kel's backstory. There is so much.
Getting asked this question, I was like, I've forgotten literally everything about Ariel that didn't make it onto the podcast. But in fairness, a lot of stuff about Ariel made it onto the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for the sake of a quick thing that I could say, like, it was never really dwelled on, but the fact that Kel, like Ariel, is an orphan, and the way they lost their parents, like they lost their mum in a car crash when they were like 6 years old. Their dad was a severe alcoholic up until they were about 14 when he got his shit together, and then he died of a heart attack like 2 years later.
Mm-hmm.
So part of why Kel is so the way that they are has a lot to do with it. They've also been like institutionalized briefly and stuff like that. There's stuff that I couldn't explore because of the lines and bails we had in place on the game, but upsetting. Thanks for that, Mac.
Yep, you got it.
Yeah. But part of why Kel is the way that they are and the way they hold on to people is because of the shit that they went through. So.
Yep.
I don't have any happy lore. Oh, I do know the song that their parents danced to at their wedding. Madness. It Must Be Love.
Excellent.
Good. But yeah, there's like a whole backstory about like this fucking white Catholic guy who marries a Pakistani woman who's in the country for school, and like all the shit with his family disowning her and the Pakistani family disowning those. Like, there's a lot. There's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't necessary, but it's there. Because I have no chill.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I think
Benny
I already mentioned. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Benny was developing an extremely unhealthy relationship with a howler ship.
Uh-huh.
We noticed. We did notice.
That one we noticed.
Yeah, I don't think you noticed how unhealthy and how deep the relationship was getting. The ship had a name, it had nose art. They went on little flights together.
Christ. Great. Hate it. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, I think I already mentioned that Adrian's dad was really distant, but everything else that I wanted to have about Adrian made it into the podcast, so...
Mm-hmm. All right. Sorry, I'm fucking with paint for a later question.
While Danielle's doing that, another question we got from Daniel. What is a morph that you wish you could have gotten, but the opportunity never came up? Weird alien, dinosaur, deep sea creature, random animal that we couldn't get hold of in the Boston area or a zoo. Go.
So Adrian, I feel like he was comfortable with the morphs that he had, but August, wish he could have gotten a Utah Raptor morph because I love Utah Raptors. They're very neat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. It would have been really cool to be able to do weird time travel in the form of you get to see the dinosaurs, because as a child that was like so much my shit.
Mm-hmm. Imagine that.
A morph, because Kel wasn't part of that original excursion to the zoo, and then it never happened again. Which is fine, to be clear. But Jade, my bias coming through is like something like an orangutan. Because orangutan is like top of Jade's list of ideal morphs to have. But I think Kel would appreciate the utility of one as a morph as well. So.
Anyone else?
I wish I could have morphed less, actually.
Yeah, we all fucking know. The thing for me was that I played very carefully with my morphs, because I was like, well, I don't know if these are ever going to become useful, and so I don't want to give them up. So even if the opportunity had come up for something really cool, like I have the anaconda and the giant octopus, and I'm like, Ariel and I probably wouldn't have given those up, actually, because those might have come in handy. So I'm like, The only bit of planning ahead that I ever did as Ariel was not getting different morphs.
I don't know. Listen, sometimes you just gotta have a player when you're playtesting a system, right? That's why people like me and Riley Hopkins are good to have around. People who will not engage with the systems in any kind of discernible way. Like,
yeah, no, it was not unironically, genuinely great, because it still worked fine.
Truly, Dante did all kinds of dumb, wild shit. Just did not need to be anything other than occasionally another person or occasionally a Hork-Bajir.
Okay, question. My question for you though: do you think that would have been the case if Dante hadn't got so badly hurt when he was in Tarantula Morph?
I think eventually, because like Dante only ever. Well, I guess maybe if Dante doesn't roll bad, right, trying to like do fights, right, maybe this changes his perspective. But like. It's that as the hacker, right? Like what actually led to it is like me being mechanical with it, being like, well, Dante was only good at X, right? Like Forged in the Dark characters are generally pretty like well built to do one thing good, and then everything else kind of meh. By forcing them, but then the job is to force them into situations where they have to use their mess skills to get out, creating like complex webs of like bullshit, right? The problem is I came in with way too much knowledge on how Forged in the Dark works, right? And I'm just like, oh, well, if Dante's ever going, like, I can't type as a fucking tarantula. Like, I can't rewire a system as a dog or an octopus or something like that, right? And so it's like, Dante leaning into his only utility, like is being extremely utilitarian about himself, and being like, oh well, this I guess whatever, I have superpowers, but like they pale in comparison to my ability to take this Commodore 64 and weaponize it. So,
no, fair, good answer.
I anticipated Benny spending a lot more time as big sea predators.
I didn't really make you fight on the ocean at all.
Considering how much of the campaign was spent on a boat, the fact that we didn't do more water-based stuff is a surprise.
Yeah, I didn't want to compromise your one hideout, considering how much of a deal it was to get you a hideout in the first place.
Yeah.
All right. From Dirk, tell me about a character / personality you are certain exists somewhere in the DKPH world, even if the players never interacted with them. The OG Animorphs definitely exist out in California. Their lives are a little better, but also in many ways worse. The end. Tobias, in particular, has a way worse life.
Oh, Tobias.
Uh-huh. Sometimes you join a war and it's the best thing that ever happens to you.
I tell you what, given how excited everybody is at the moment, imagine if the fucking Doctor Who New Who reboot had to start in the wake of a fucking actual alien invasion.
Oh god.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like, would not have got New Who? Oh no! Or would New Who be even better?
I think about that a lot, actually, and I think about I hate to invoke the specter of this, but I think about Watchmen and how, like, pirate fiction took off because superheroes were real, so superhero fiction wasn't a thing. And so I think there's going to be whole swaths of science fiction that just don't exist in the same way anymore. And unfortunately, I think New Who is a part of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think it would have been... Like, the first season of New Who is already so low budget. Like, you know they did not expect it to do anything, especially after 8's movie. So, like, they would not have greenlit it at all.
Oh, what's hilarious? I'm looking this up. It was September 2003. So literally around the time Kings were kicking off, BBC announced an in-house production.
They're holding season 1 of New Who in their hands and going, "Ah, shit." It's filmed, it's edited, it's ready to air. Because season 1 of New Who comes out in 2005.
Yeah.
And it's ready to go, and they're like, "Oh no."
Yes, we have delayed the just I feel bad.
Yeah,
I don't think we delay. Here's the thing. I don't think we delay it. I think they cancel it.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think we're going to get into like a 9/11 post 9/11 media situation.
Yeah. It hurts me, Danielle, the person.
Don't worry,
especially given the 60th just came out.
We can't get into that.
We cannot get into it.
We cannot get into that.
We're not getting into it. I promise we're not getting into it. Danielle and I are on the same page right now.
I will just die.
Just expire on the spot.
Anyway.
Cool. Does anyone else have any NPCs that they know exist in DKPH world that...
I think it would be very funny, but also really awful if Marius were in Arn somewhere.
God. Fucking incredible. Or they'd be an Andalite. Frankly.
Oh god. Yeah. Okay.
I think that Ruben is around somewhere. Just chilling.
Yep.
Probably tinkering with some fucking alien tech.
From Shrog, in a similar vein, were there any set pieces? This is, it's not in a similar vein from Dark's question, it's in a similar vein from another question that Shrog asks. Were there any set pieces around Boston that got cut since the party mostly migrated to a boat? Not really. Again, I tried very hard not to plan shit. And if I did have a set piece that got scrapped, I mostly just used it in a different thing. That said, I really do miss Ariel and Kel's apartment.
So do I.
I feel like adding Boston set pieces is also lost on like 90% of the dumb cast, who are all like, what is Boston? What's in Boston?
Yeah.
Because it's literally just me.
I've been to Boston like 3 times.
Yeah, I live here. Fun fact, I have never been to Franklin Park Zoo. I just don't find zoos particularly enjoyable, so I just haven't bothered going.
Yeah. I do have a list of potential points of attack in Boston, because when we first said that we were setting this in Boston, I needed, for my own notes, to have the reasoning built out for why the Yeerks would have invaded here.
Yeah. Similarly, when when Ariel died and I plotted her escape route, I did a lot of research in making sure that her way out would logically make sense. I spent about an hour looking at 2003 Amtrak schedules and routes. Worth it. 2000, actually, it would have been 2004 by that point. The point stands. There really wasn't that much of a difference, but a lot of time.
What is your character doing after? I believe we talked about the immediate aftermath, but like, in general, what is your character doing after the war?
This is something we... Sorry, August, I just...
No, go ahead.
Oh, right, I forgot the whole fucking beach thing got...
Yeah.
Because,
It's gone.
We had a long conversation after we recorded the final episode, though, because we just wanted to know where we saw everyone going, so I made sure to put this into the doc for our questions here, so everyone could hear the stuff we had planned.
Yeah, we recorded a mini, like, beach scene post the thing, but it didn't make it to...
See, Sean, I don't know how serious you are with that comment, but you aren't wrong.
No, yeah, I feel like Dante goes full fucking... So have you ever... Let me tell you about a little indie game called Metal Gear Solid 2: Sons of the Patriots.
God.
In that, at the beginning of the game, when you play as Solid Snake before the big twist, like what Solid Snake and Otacon are doing post Metal Gear Solid 1 is they are just like a paramilitary group that just hunts down Metal Gears. Like, anytime a country pops up and they're like, we got Metal Gear technology, Otacon and Snake are like, no, you fucking don't, brah. So that's just Dante goes to all the Hork-Bajir and the Taxons, and he's like, hey, who wants to continuously fuck shit up on this planet until, like, we force global governments to not be a big batch of fuckers, and then... does that, probably whether or not anyone else in the team joins him.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I think it was Seek Drew last year. I ended up writing a fic that was set post canon. And I think a lot of the stuff that I outlined for Adrian, not all of it, but a lot of the stuff I outlined is where he would be, assuming that he didn't immediately get picked up for all of the crimes that the Bandolites committed. He would be working with getting the free Taxons, free Hork-Bajir, free Yeerks settled, and I don't want to say integrated into society because that's kind of gross, but helping them get a life started. Like that would be his focus. Now, I imagine that his path and Dante's path might converge in some places, but they're doing two fundamentally different things.
Yeah. I think I posit in that, like, I think vaguely in character as Dante is that, like, the problem is, like, they'll pardon us for, like, the things we did fighting the Yeerks, because the Yeerks are now obvious bad guys in the public sense, but, like, we are a fundamental, like, our existence and the thing that we did is a fundamental problem to, like, hegemonic structures. Carte blanche. So, and their intention will probably be, like, we must co-opt these children into being, like, mouthpieces for us, Uh, and then when Dante says, "Fuck that, bruh," we'll just be criminals again.
It just has just occurred to me, and not necessarily a fun or in that interesting way, but like Dante, particularly because of how vocal he is, but also like all of them, if they refuse to comply, God, they're going to be so at high risk of being assassinated. Like, holy shit. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, if a massive alien empire couldn't get us.
You do have the superpower of healing.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, but a headshot as well. Like, you have to know that you've been hurt to heal and stuff. It's upsetting. Go on, Mac. You were about to say.
I was about to say, like, Ariel moves in with Mal and decides to go back to school and is kind of dating Jazz for a while, and Jazz is helping Dante with the revolution because that's fun. And Ariel discovers that she has lost the ability to morph. So that's fun and good. So, hopefully nobody tries to assassinate her. I mean, she'll kick their ass, but, like, it's not like she has the healing superpower anymore. I had a conversation with Danielle about this and determined it's a mental block. And I know exactly the reason why. But I was like, I don't want Ariel to be able to morph anymore without becoming a Nothlet. So this is my answer.
Yep. What is Benny doing?
Couple of things. First and foremost, he is quietly preparing for the next round of the war. Because he refuses to believe that there won't be a next round. And then simultaneously trying to help set up support structures for folks who were yerked and helping them recover. He is having absolutely nothing to do with the family business anymore.
This is the family business now.
Yeah. And then the most important thing is spending the rest of his life with Dante and Kel.
Yeah!
Yeah. This was something I posited, and this is my gift. Well, first and foremost, to me, and to my fellow players, and to Mac, who has been shipping with us since the start, and to Dirk. I had this notion that the trio, Team Chaos, the trio, just get into the habit of getting married in various places because, one, they're criminals, and two, like, polygamy is not recognized anyway. So just like in different states, in different countries, like two of them will get married.
Different identities.
They just keep doing it for shits and giggles, and also because like it's fun to do. Just like, you want to get married again? Sure. And just like the notion of them getting to like do they've definitely had one with an Elvis impersonator, if not multiple. Just the notion of them finding this small joy that is also deeply in character for them. So, but yeah, I love them so much. But in terms of what Kel does, Kel is going full Yamaha in that Yamaha build motorbikes and lawn mowers and keyboards Kel gets really into making and patenting like assistive technology for both disabled people and for also aliens that are now living on Earth to interact with human the human setting just like generally, and also gets into synthesizers because Kel is a musician and an engineer as well, and I just really like the notion that the synthwave scene starts a lot, the revival starts a lot earlier. Um, she's they definitely go do a cameo on a Gorillaz track at some point just because that makes me happy.
That's fun.
But also is very much like free for use, like puts all the files out on the internet so anybody can use their tech, so it can be, wants it to be, the whole point of it being accessible is that anyone should be able to use it. And thanks to the technology that they made, like imagine the tech like that allows a yerk to communicate that we see in the books like that, but like people with locked-in syndrome or people who are like fully paraplegic following an accident, just like ways to make life easier for people.
Kel is the only person Dante doesn't stage a midnight raid on for using your technology.
Yeah, also, but that is one thing. Like, anytime Kel catches wind that a bigger corp is like doing their own version of their tech, or any military is using any alien tech, they are also like, they don't probably go on the missions, but will absolutely like be the guy in the van, as it were, like will run point. Because, like, nah, people should not have this technology, at least not that way. So they know what their boys do, and they love and support them.
Kala goes on to lead the Human Hork Taxon Alliance of Freed Peoples. Her dads go to the Hork-Bajir homeworld to help organize a revolution there that can free the Hork-Bajir. The Taxons establish their hive on Earth, and in a few generations have recovered a lot from the famine that destroyed their that caused genetic trauma to their species. It's not gone. The hell hunger isn't gone, but it is very well controlled, I think. And as long as they have access to the living hive, they do very well. They begin to have a bit of a renaissance because they can finally think about things besides food. And we get to learn how fucking dope they are at technology. And digging. There are talks about going to free the Taxon homeworld, but I don't think they're as ready for it as the Hork-Bajir are. Some Yeerks take the option to become Nothlit humans. Some humans come forward to work with the Yeerks and the Chi in developing like genetic modifications for the Yeerks that make it so that they are less capable of taking full unilateral control. And develop more symbiotic infestation relationships between humans and Yeerks. The Yeerks also kind of rediscover their own culture in the new pools that have been built by Alma. Alma fades into the background as much as possible while still staying in touch with, or still being with Adrian.
Just, occasionally drops Adrian a text,
Yeah.
Adrian just laying there as a dog. Text message, you up, boy?
Yeah, I have a lot of headcanons about how the aliens work out.
Everyone gently encourage Danielle to write all their fic, yeah?
Yes.
Gently.
No.
Wow. Fucking rude. Who's
TM
writing
days.
your fic, Mackenzie?
Shut up.
All right. Favorites / superlatives from Daniel. What was each cast member's favorite moment that didn't involve their own character?
No, you already highlighted it in the doc. Danielle, like the scenes from the Diwali arc. But I do want to specifically shout out the scene between Benny and Emmeline as just like...
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I'm so proud of how that worked out.
In a moment of improvisation where Danielle understood the assignment.
You give Danielle a knife. She'll use it.
Also, the scene with Benny and his parents in the house with Benny and Adrian. It was a long time ago, so I don't remember all the details, but I remember it being very good. Yeah, literally, Dirk. We just literally just forgot everything.
I think everything everybody did in the wake of Ariel's death was very good. Like,
Yes.
I think that whole mini arc where we were going through Ariel's things was possibly some of the best RP that we did.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it, but it was kind of involving my character, so it felt cheap.
It was about your character, but your character wasn't in it.
Yes, she was.
Yeah, that was flashbacks.
Yeah, that's true.
We did do flashbacks.
Yeah. It was very good. Asshole Andalites also was incredible. I'm very proud of everybody that showed up for that. Thank you, Dirk and Izzy. Along with Jade. Yeah, that was so good. I'm so happy with how that went. Uneven taxons as well. Basically all of the side games where we got to like flex a whole lot of RP muscles.
Oh my god, the
Were really
Kingdom
good.
games.
God,
Oh
yeah,
my
I just
God.
fucking shout out to Riley once again for that fucking tiny octopus guy.
Yes!
Yeah, truly.
Thank you, Riley Hopkins, for my life, as always.
Yeah.
That game was simultaneously the funniest fucking thing I've ever been involved in, and also just so frustrating. Because it's like, well, nothing matters. This is
literally.
amazing.
Literally.
You can only put so many chaos people in a single game.
Yeah, Riley and Sasha just fucking ended me.
One from very late in the game. Actually, a lot of the stuff fucking getting the polar bear morph. Like in character, I was so mad, but as like some RP that happened on screen, loved it. A serious RP moment that genuinely blew me away was Adrian and Dante's conversation from like 3 or 4 episodes before we finished the story. like after Ariel's back, and just Brian and August fucking killed it. That was it was incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. The singing in the rain scene was great. Loved that.
In terms of scenes to play, that was one of my favorites. I've gotta say, that was just a delight.
Mm-hmm. Also from Daniel, worst war crime vote. I feel like y'all did surprisingly few war crimes.
Yeah. Like, we actively tried to, like, we contemplated the things that we were doing. Like, obviously we did some stuff. Like, here's the thing. Like, we joke about the term war crime, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think we did any, like,
Yeah.
capital W war crimes.
Yeah, you didn't flush 20,000 Yerks into space.
No.
We did do that whole blade ship though. That was
You did do the blade ship.
Great.
You gave
But
them an
those
opportunity to escape, but
Yeah.
I was very concerned that Ariel was going to end up facing consequences at the end of everything for having killed the Andalite host of Visser 3. I still think she probably should, but like...
The thing is that
Whatever.
Aloran is such a pariah with the Andalites anyway, everyone's just fucking relieved that he's dead.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, like, it's a
Yeah,
whole
right.
thing.
If the Andalites are going to come after anybody for war crime, it's the fact that we've got the Escafil device,
Yes.
and we're like, yeah, nah, use this.
Yeah.
That's the future fit, because like that's technically stolen technology
Mm-hmm.
that we are using and sharing. I
That
mean,
was
I'll tell
given
you
to
right
us as
now.
a gift.
The argument is that he didn't have, like, Elfangor didn't have the right
Yeah,
and broke Andalite law
Exactly.
to give it.
I mean, I guess fair enough, but he was our good friend. We knew him forever, and then he gave that
Our
to us
good
because he
friend
trusted us. Yeah,
Elfangor.
yeah,
Our
our
good friend
great,
Elfangor, who we
our
love.
longtime friend Elfangor.
I mean, he put so
Elfangor.
much of his fucking memories into your brains that... Who's to say?
Really, yes.
Also, I would like to note the Blade ship was a combatant ship. Like, it was not. Dante took
Yeah.
a lot of steps to never mess with the dome ship.
Mm-hmm.
Bullshit.
Cool ship, yeah.
Pool ship, yeah. The Blade ship is a ship that was made for. It's like blowing up the Death Star, right? Oh, there might be some contracted civilians on there, but that motherfucker only got one purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the crew, like, the crew wasn't just Yerks, it was their hosts too.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it was a combatant ship, and I don't think that it was necessarily a war crime, but that doesn't mean it was good.
Also, we definitely.
No, you're right. It was
kept
sick as hell.
prisoners. We definitely did some keeping prisoners and some torture. Also,
Yeah, we did
mean,
do a
we
little bit of
didn't.
that.
Yeah.
but
So we did do some torture and some starvation and
that's
Yeah.
solitary confinement.
Yeah.
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 In our defense, we're telling a very intrinsically post 9/11 story, so.
Really,
Yeah.
what we're doing is critiquing things.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, exactly. This is a.
Very quick, funny story about the post 9/11 stuff is that I did have a conversation with Riley a couple weeks ago about load bearing 9/11 in tabletop campaigns,
Wow.
and how because they just wrapped up the new interstitial season recording, and 9/11 is apparently load bearing for that story.
Oof.
Okay.
I'm sure you'll not in the same way as it is for us, but like there's so many references to it that they can't cut them out anymore.
Oh
And
geez.
I'm like,
What?
yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine. But I was like, oh yeah, we had that happen with Dumb Kids a little bit. Not in the same way at all, but pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer Daniel's question, I suppose it's a matter of opinion and also what you consider the worst kinds of war crime. Vote
last time
now.
Yeah, last time I checked, history was written by the victors, and we fucking aced that shit. So.
What you did to Constance was pretty fucked up. But she got better, so. You know.
Hey, it worked out in the end.
No harm, no foul.
Yeah, sure.
That's what the Geneva Convention says.
It's
It's like right there at the top.
time to ask Durst a question. Were you all planning for the beginning to be as dark as it was on purpose? Or did it just sort of happen that way?
I absolutely expected this and hoped it would in fact turn out this way.
I had a hunch. I had a big hunch. I think I told Danielle when we were starting this, I said I will only do this campaign if we are not children.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, no, we're going to be college students. And I was like, dope, let's go.
Yeah. If it hadn't taken the turns that it did and become gradually darker, I frankly would have considered it a failure as an Animorphs adaptation.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is that
like it would have been an interesting story, I'm sure, but it would not have been Animorphs. And one of my main cornerstones that I wanted this to be was like Animorphs. So I'm glad that it did what it did.
Yeah, I remember we were discussing at the very beginning. I think we all kind of knew that it was going to be pretty dark, but I know I had a hard line against it being completely hopeless.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it definitely could have gone darker, but everybody was very kind to respect my comfort level on like the kind of tone that I was comfortable playing with.
In fairness, I was also very much like, no, I don't. I also don't want it to be completely hopeless. Those sorts of stories aren't super interesting to me.
Yeah,
so.
I think most, if not all of us, definitely felt like we can go dark, but there has to be a light at the end of the tunnel.
But yeah, I think it's fair to say we all kind of expected it to be about this dark.
Brian, Richard, Jade?
It could have gotten significantly darker for me, and I would have just been like, "Yeah, let's go."
Yeah, I feel like you and I are on the same page, Brian.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's interesting for me because obviously I wasn't there for the initial conversations about tone, and was riding along on the reading canon Animorphs as we were playing.
mm-hmm.
There's some things that are different because the characters are a little bit older,
Mm-hmm.
and with the more contemporary setting. But frankly, although like I would say we were like an R-rated show given all the language, if nothing else, and the violence, canon Animorphs goes to darker places.
Yeah.
Than we did.
Yeah.
No question.
Yep.
And I don't think that it's a failing on this story's part that we didn't go to those places.
Mm-mm.
Look, I'm a fucking little edgelord in my heart. I would have happily gone to darker places with this. I love the story that we were told, though, and that silver lining, that hope is important. I think we could have gone a little darker on the way before we came back to a light, but
Yeah, same. Totally.
Woulda. No, I don't think we shoulda.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't regret that we didn't.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, to combine this with the last question, the worst war crimes were the ones that Vinny had ready to go at a moment's notice, but we never actually did.
Uh-huh.
No, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard some of them, and I'm just like, Richard, you understood the assignment, and I love you.
Because I spent a lot of time with I'm going to try to honor everyone else's vision of the tone. But man, if this goes off the rails, I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
I've got it ready to roll. I can pull the trigger on this thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah. Would absolutely read the Hurt No Comfort fic. Yeah, I think we did a very good job of writing the line of tone that worked out really
No.
well for the story we were telling.
I will say also, there is something to be said, and this is going to lead us nicely into the question we've got from Izzy next. Writing a story that goes to very dark places
Mm-hmm.
is different from doing an actual play.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much
Because,
so.
like, even as an actor in a film or something, you have a script and you are, like, directed, and there are times to break. With actual play, you're live.
Mm-hmm.
And you're also very aware that you're playing out a game with your friends.
Yep.
And so it wouldn't be fair necessarily to go to these really dark places or fun to play.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, there's some things that are interesting and compelling. And I think we got to go to some interesting places character-wise. But if we had gone full dark, we would have been so fucking miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It wouldn't have been a
Yeah.
game anymore.
No.
Yeah. I mean, leading into the next question, that was the major reason why I left the podcast for a year. Because the character bleed was getting so bad that I was like, I need to take a step back. I love this game and I love this story, but I am like, the character bleed was lasting way too long, even with all the decompression we were doing. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, Izzy's question was specifically, how did everyone handle character bleed as we played through the rougher scenes?
We did usually have some decompression time after really intense sessions where we all just kind of sat on voice call for, half an hour to an hour afterwards, or as long as people could, depending on what they had on their schedules. And just like decompressed, talked about other shit, reminded ourselves that we are people in meat space and friends, and not fighting a war against a parasitic invasion.
I remember
Running a lot of DMs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sent a lot of DMs. I remember when Ariel and Dante had that argument, and we finished the session, and I was literally about to apologize to Brian when he goes, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Are you okay?"
Here's the thing.
We just had a fight on air.
So people, like, the people who play games with me will know this, but like, I am like, because I took 4 years of acting classes, I have no character bleed. Like, I will walk out of the most intense scene you've ever had being like, wow, that was fucking great, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, I fucking wish that were me. I've also done a fuck ton of acting. To be clear, like, I know how to draw the line. But sometimes the tism is what it is. It's the tism.
It's the tism.
There's also something about playing relationships that are similar enough to your IRL relationships that it becomes really hard to not let that bleed happen. Like, for Mac and I, we both struggled with that particularly intense conversation between Ariel and Cal towards the end of the story. And like, it wasn't the only occasion I've basically been crying while RPing. But it was rough.
Yeah. I think if I learned anything from this, it's to not give my character all of my trauma. Because that did not help at all. Ariel has like all of my trauma and all of my triggers. And that made it worse.
I could imagine, yeah.
And like, on the flip side of that, the big reveal about Ariel not being dead, I got told on the Wednesday. We were recording on the Saturday or the Sunday. Mac made sure to tell me on the Tuesday or the Wednesday. And I was in such a bad headspace for that week.
Yeah.
About it.
Yeah.
And that's pure bleed.
Mm-hmm.
I would not do. I think I said to Danielle after the fact, I was like, that was great. I would not do that again.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, specifically, I would not tell everyone again. Yeah. I would tell everyone ahead of time.
Yeah. Going into that, I told Mac, like, you have got to tell August and Jade. I'm pretty sure that Brian and Richard can handle it, but you have got to tell August and Jade.
Here's the thing. August knew for like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I made the call to tell August. Because I didn't want to trigger August. And then Danielle was like, you need to tell Jade. And I was like, you're right, I need to tell Jade. And I've been going back and forth about it for a really long time. And having Danielle say to me, you need to tell Jade, was like, okay, I need to tell Jade, you're right.
Yeah.
I needed another person to tell me, you need to tell Jade. And I was like, yep, nope, I'm on it. And would not, it's wild experience, would never do again.
Yeah.
I don't need to. I'm good.
If I had found out on microphone that not just that Ariel wasn't there, but that my very good friends, Mac and Danielle and August, hadn't told me for a year, that hits on a lot of my own insecurities about being kept out of the loop, about not being worthy of information, which none of them could have known. And the rational part of my brain wouldn't have thought that. But I would have entirely possibly noped out of the recording.
Yeah.
And just gone for a walk.
Yeah.
And scared everybody in the process. Secrets are really fun things to have in actual play content and tabletop games. Be careful.
Yes.
As we have learned.
Yes.
For your own well-being as a player, but also for the people at your table.
Yeah. And even with Brian and Richard, you know, I'm flippant saying I'm pretty sure they can handle it. But even going into the session, I didn't tell them exactly what would happen, but I was like, look, we're going to do some bullshit. Let me know at any point if we need to stop.
Yeah. And on the flip side, the fun side of bleed and being respectful of your players, like the romance stuff with Dante and Cal, and then Dante, Cal, and Benny. Like, Brian first messaged me about, like, hey, is it cool if this happens? And I was like, oh yeah, sick, sweet. And then went on. And then later we were like, okay, so when do we get Richard involved in this? when do we join the V, as it were? But like, some things are very fun. Like, a lot of us, we're shits. We love to get a rise out of our friends because it's fun to get a reaction out of people.
Yes.
We thrive on, like, making our friends laugh, or girls, we go, you fuckhead, when, you know, you drop a particularly good pun. But you want your friends to be able to enjoy it. So, like, just that consideration of each other.
Yeah. I was very glad that someone else got to fake date Brian. It has to happen every game, apparently.
Look, if So Below had happened, there was a possibility. There was one brief point where Brian and I were like in 3 different fictional fraught relationships.
Sure, yeah.
And it's like,
Jade and I might be fated to only make characters that are really into each other, like, somehow.
You know what? Some crosses in life we just have to bear. It's like how Mac and I inevitably have characters with romantic tension.
Yeah,
it just keeps happening. It keeps happening.
It just keeps happening.
It turns out we're friends and know what we like.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Shrog in the chat. Let's re-listen to episode 1 the other day. Mac brought up PC romance, and the only response at the time was Brian saying he didn't care.
That's because Brian, as established, is down for anything.
It's true. He's written, like, I'm Mr. Yes and.
Yep.
Yeah. It was very funny to me that I was like, I am specifically making a character who is a lesbian in this group of other dudes
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to do a romance subplot. And then Jade brought Kellen, and Jade's beautiful magnetism just went, oh, fuck. It happened again. I don't know what to tell you.
Very powerful.
Also, but I specifically didn't talk about it to anybody because I was like, I'm not going to do anything with this, so I'm just going to have this be a character fact that, oh, I guess that's my answer for things the audience didn't know about Ariel. In case you didn't figure it out, Ariel was in love with Kel for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's hard not to be.
This is true.
Chin hands.
But yeah. Character bleed
Yeah.
rough.
Yep.
Yeah. Can
Yeah.
be fun, can be exciting, can frequently be exhausting.
Can be weaponized.
Yeah.
Weaponized.
Can be
Yeah.
weaponized, but like
Look after your friends
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
the table.
the thing I think that's key for us is that if we didn't know each other as well as we do, none of this would have worked.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the fact that we know each other super well and we trust each other enough, like there's an episode where I asked for a rewind because I realized I did something that was out of character and I'm audibly crying. And everyone said, yep, we'll rewind, we'll take it again, we'll do it again, made sure I was okay. And I came out of that session and I was like, that scene would not have worked in any, and I love my friends and I love the friends that I role play with. And I'm like, this is the place where I could do that because I trusted everyone enough to make sure that I was taken care of. And that's the key. This story and how dark it got and all of the beats that we hit, it would not have worked if we didn't know each other and we didn't trust each other as we do.
Yeah.
We should rattle through some more questions.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, August, if you've got something to say though, please do, because we've just all been chatting for ages.
No, I think just echoing that character bleed can be a fuck. I think, if we hadn't been taking as long as we did to decompress from certain sessions, like I said, there's a reason why I wouldn't play Adrian again. So we just kudos to everybody for being good friends and good roleplay partners.
The next question is I know Benny from we got it from 3 different people. From Becky, I know Benny had a really bad role going with the family members. Is it because he had so many or was it just very unlucky? Dirk asked, were Dante's parents infested? We know a lot of Benny's family was, but we heard almost nothing from or about Dante's parents. What about Adrian and Jude's families? And from Daniel, was there a member of Benny's family that wasn't yerked? On the screen right now is my list of all the NPCs that everybody gave me when they created their characters. And in the text of the game, you are to roll 1d6 for each NPC that gets created. On a 1 or a 2, that NPC is infested. All of the names in bold here are infected. Are infested. So the answer about Benny is that yes, he just had a lot of family members, and also yes, he got particularly unlucky. There should be a 1/3 chance that any given NPC is infested, but half of Benny's family is infested.
Yeah.
None of Dante's were infested. For Jude, it was only his brother Maxwell. For Kel also got disproportionate yerking. Their roommate and also the person who runs the recording studio.
In fairness, one of Kel's connections is also Benny's
dad.
father.
Yeah.
So
That wasn't rolled for. That was just tough shit. This is happening.
But
That's
it's still 2 out of 3 instead of 1 out of 3,
Yeah.
For Adrian, I went back and forth on it because Adrian's parents are in Atlanta, but eventually I decided to actually do roll on them, and Adrian's dad was definitely infested, which lends just a chef's kiss level of interesting to the fact that Adrian is very distant with his dad, and like, when did that start? Also, the track team member Kurt. For Ariel, it didn't come up much.
I completely forgot about all of these NPCs except for Ariel's brother.
Yeah.
And then Ariel's brother was a last-minute decision that Danielle made.
Yeah.
In the moment, which I saw coming 2 hours away. I saw it coming before Danielle did it.
Yeah.
And so that's why he's not bolded here. But I'm like looking at the notes here, and I'm like, I like the direction that we went with Mal better.
Yeah, me too. The whole thing with Mal was just the stars aligned. It was great.
It was perfect. It was perfect.
It was perfect.
Ariel reaped what she sowed. She killed the Andalite host of Visser 3, and then it turned out that Visser 1 was her brother. It's fine.
But that's the answer to all of that. You now know my secret, which is just people got very unlucky with the macro that I rolled in Roll20.
Those macros, man. Those macros were vindictive as fuck.
Yeah. And I also did roll on every other NPC that came up later. It just didn't happen as much later because, as I said earlier, I tried to bring in existing NPCs from these backstories as much as possible because entanglement's good.
Truth.
Now we're on to what ifs. From Dirk. How do you think your character would have handled the game's events if they were 13 when everything started?
Badly. Extremely badly. I genuinely think Ariel might have actually gone by way of Rachel. Like, straight up and down.
All right, but yeah, for real though, like imagine like goopy teenager Dante and Kel at each other.
Yeah, no, yeah.
When I was thinking about this, I got very upset in the good way because it occurred to me just how much Kel would have been like Marco in the books. One dead parent, one parent struggling, who they were trying to look after, to protect, more scared, because there would still be stuff to lose, and like sort of hiding behind their intelligence and their sharpness. Also, like, I don't have a full grasp on Kel's decision to socially transition and stuff like that, but it would have been, puberty's rough for everybody. But yeah, I think a younger Kel would be a meaner one in a lot of ways. So.
I think since...
Adrian. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Richard.
No, you go ahead.
I think Adrian would have done a lot more compartmentalization, and it would have, a lot more repression, and I think it would have ended up exploding in ways that Adrian did not do in canon. Like it would have leaked out, and there would have been, Adrian would have picked a fight that he probably wouldn't want to pick, and it would have gone poorly.
And since at 13, this would have all taken place before the scene with Emmeline doing what she did to Benny. I seriously believe Benny would have been yerked within 3 days. I think he would have trusted Emmeline, and I think it would have just hosed him.
Oh, jeez. On a less serious note, I realized that Kel would have been Ariel.
You cut out there. Kel would have been Ariel's what?
Fucking course I did.
Censored by Discord once again.
Kel would have been Ariel's lesbian awakening.
Oh, very good. Extremely
You
good.
could probably, honestly, you probably could have extrapolated it, but yeah. On a less serious note.
Mm-hmm.
What's
Ariel would be
hilarious
like,
is
"Oh."
that Kel wouldn't have necessarily known about being non-binary at that point, so he's just like this slightly effeminate presenting person, like big, I suppose, big axe in human morph vibes, like very sort of androgynous in it, just sort of like, and like Ariel being, if it came up like what I don't understand, but like, you know, there would have been some gender stuff happening there. Meeting Ariel and just like, huh, this is interesting. Girl?
We are shaking hands. Kel and Ariel are shaking hands about being queer.
From Izzy, what morph would your character have chosen to be trapped in forever if they ever traumaed out?
To the surprise of absolutely no one, my plan, if Adrian had traumaed out, was for him to morph dog, walk into the woods, never to be seen again.
Alma would have followed him.
Adrian.
I thought about this. If this was like a morph that was chosen, but then you got stuck in it, I think Kel would go Hawkbajir. Obviously they're close with Jet and Gorankala, but also if they couldn't be themselves, they wouldn't want to be any kind of variant of human. Like, they deal with enough dysphoria. Better to be something else entirely. So, also, like, Kel going to be a family with Jet and Gorankala is incredibly good.
That is incredibly good. Anyone else?
My plan is if Dante traumatized out, I was going to pitch to Danielle Dante becoming secretly yerked, and then but me playing, just continuing to play Dante, but knowing that in my head.
Fuck.
Jesus Christ, Brian. I'm not surprised, but god damn it.
Every day, Brian wakes up and chooses violence.
Yep. Do you have one in mind for Benny, Richard?
Two. Depends on which way he went. One, he would have reverted to telepathic cat god and just wandered off. The other being that he would just grab some other random person, become them, and wander off.
Good, great.
Yeah.
Very good. Yep.
Now you know a character is played by Richard. The option to turn into a telepathic cat god is on the table.
Do you have one for Ariel, Mac?
Yeah, so my original plan for the year that Ariel was in hiding was that she was going to be living with Jazz and hopefully Mal, but that she was going to be a cat most of the time. And that she was not going to tell Mal that she was alive either. And I decided against that, but I think that she has the little cat morph, and that would have been what she would have just decided, I'm going to be a cat now. And she would have been the cuddliest fucking cat in the world. She would have turned into such a lap cat. But she would have gone cat. And she would specifically have gone house cat, not tiger. Because her traumaing out is Ariel deciding I can't do this anymore. Had she not traumatized out by dying, you know.
From Dirk, will Dante ever morph a non-sapient creature again?
Dante will probably never morph again. He doesn't need it anymore. Or maybe will occasionally morph into some human being that he just, like, grabbed to be able to, like, avoid government detection. But, like, I think Dante is the, like, I think of everybody is, like, the most, like, uses morphing as a utilitarian tool and has no emotional attachment to it whatsoever. Like... Because, like, he's like, I don't want to be a bear. A bear is less good in this situation than a Hork-Bajir. Like, because a Hork-Bajir is covered in blades, is as strong as a bear, and also has digits. Like, Dante puts a lot of priority on fingers.
Yeah, Ariel and Dante both in the not morphing again, but for two completely different reasons.
Dante regularly forgetting that he in fact has superpowers. Like, oh yeah, I guess I could do that.
Really, I want to know if the others morph at all after.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you mean what's Adrian's last name again? I can never remember anyone's last name.
West.
West, yeah. Adrian Puppy Play West. Thank you for that.
I mean, you're not wrong. Like, Adrian definitely keeps morphing dog. Like, that's just part of who he is at the moment. And I mean, like, I took the lost trauma, so it feels right that he still has an emotional attachment to that particular morph, even after everything's over.
Richard?
Yeah, obviously, Vinny's going to continue to morph.
Just makes
on a
good
regular
strategy.
basis. Yep. It is too useful of a tool to ever put aside.
Does
Yeah,
anyone
that
get
tracks.
therapy?
Yes. Well, I only say that because Ariel, I specifically said that Ariel was getting onto antidepressants before she died. So she goes to therapy.
I don't
yeah,
think
of course.
Adrian does.
Interesting.
Of course he doesn't. Motherfucker.
Doesn't
I love you, August.
I don't think Ariel unpacks her war trauma. I think Ariel goes to therapy to like not be normal depressed.
The therapist just keeps pointing at the big void labeled war. Do you think maybe we should talk about, like, I feel like that has some kind of influence on your depression as it stands now. Ariel, like,
And Ariel,
nah.
no, and Ariel's like, all of the reasons why I'm depressed happened before the war. Like, I want to interrogate all of that first, please. Thank you.
You did fake your death, though.
Yeah, I've talked. Whatever.
This is just Crowley Goes to Therapy version 2.0. Richard,
Yeah,
what were you saying?
Yeah, please continue, Richard.
So of course Vinny's going to get therapy. He's going to continue being friends with Adrian for years.
Oh, I do love that, though. I do love that they're
very
still
good.
friends.
That's very good. I don't think Adrian gets therapy mostly because, like, I don't think he trusts anybody enough to do that.
Well, yeah. That's sort of
You
my
know,
thought about why Ariel doesn't talk about.
Yeah. I don't think he doesn't trust like that anymore. I don't think he's ever going to talk about, because he's never going to talk about anything super deep with anybody who wasn't directly involved with the war.
Okay. Now we have questions about the game itself. Idiot Teenagers with a Death Wish. Izzy has written most of these. From Izzy, what sort of playbooks would you like to see written?
I'm going to give a shout out to Izzy, Self, and Shrog, who have written some auxiliary playbooks that
Yes.
are so fucking good.
They are.
Yeah, I'm so like I got to play with one of Shrog's a little bit, and it was so fun. Loved that playbook. Wish I'd gotten to play around with it more, but it was great. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
But between the efforts of those two people, I think all of the tropes or character types I would maybe want to see in this universe or dealing with these kind of threats are sort of covered. If you don't know, Izzy's playbook, I don't know if there's one about being attacked on as well, but there's definitely one about being yerked.
The symbiote.
The symbiote.
And Shrog has got a couple which are more looking at human personality types, like a chameleon, the mole, which is what Ariel was using.
Not Ariel.
Jazz.
Sorry, no. Well, I meant to say
Cora.
what Mac was using for Cora.
I played too many characters.
Well, there's the Rock and there is the Wild Card, who are all very fun. Yeah, they're good. I took a move from one of them, which actually I think was a follow-up question. Shrug.
Yeah.
Pitch.
Was there
any
move that
ability you
took but
didn't
get to
use? Yeah. Where's that one? I wanted to use it so fucking bad and didn't get a chance to. Where is it? I'll try and find it. But either way, I wanted to use it real bad and didn't get a chance to.
Yeah, I don't feel like anything in particular is missing, partly because I don't have the basis in Animorphs, and partly because like Izzy and Shrug have done really good jobs with auxiliary playbooks. So.
Oh yeah, the one I didn't get a chance to use, but I took. It was the last ability I chose. My pain doesn't matter. When you participate in a group action, you can take any resulting stress instead of the leader.
Sick.
Which playbook is that one from?
That is from the Chameleon. So.
I will say, one day I will finish my time traveler playbook, and then it'll be all over for you motherfuckers.
Very good.
Yeah, I think I got to use all of the moves that I took at least once. There were a couple that I leaned really hard on. Actually, like, I feel like I took a very good spread of moves that I used pretty regularly, so...
Also from Izzy, would you ever play Idiot Teenagers with a Death Wish again?
I have plans.
Yeah, I'd play it again.
Hell yeah.
My actual answer in the doc says, absolutely, though next time I think I will try not to get intensely emotionally attached to my cue laugh track.
See, I have ideas about running it. So I would love to GM some Idiot Teenagers.
The tentative future plans for this podcast is doing some like one-shots in different settings with different groups. Don't quote me on that because life is weird right now.
Yes.
But I would love to be able to do that for like just, you know, a run as the kind of capstone to this podcast as version 2 actually gets finished and published.
Richard, were you gonna say something?
Just yes, absolutely, hell yeah! Can we start now? I'm ready. I got dice.
I have evening plans, or I'd be like, yeah, fuck it, let's roll out some characters and go.
Let's go.
I don't know. Like, I like the system, but it's not something that I think I can play with just anybody.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't want to be the one holding people back if they want to go darker. Then like where we hit for dumb kids was about where my limit was for how dark I wanted to play. So I wouldn't want to hold people back if they wanted to go darker than that. So
I'll hold anyone back. I don't give a shit.
it's
I'll
a
be the
solid
scapegoat.
maybe.
Yeah. Well, that's also part of why I want to do like a series of one-shots, because then we could explore different tones and different settings and different groups of characters and players, and kind of see what we get. Would you play again, Brian?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've the crew knows I have pitched an idea, a very stupid, funny idea.
It's
It's
good.
great though. It's the
I
thing.
am keenly. It's very good. I am keenly interested.
Calling it stupid and funny does not mean it's bad. Brackets stupid, brackets good.
Yes. Also from Izzy, would y'all what was your favorite move from any of the playbooks?
From a utility perspective, natural talent, which is the one that allows you to control what order parts of your body morph in. Just because it felt like it was such a natural extension of what Kel was doing with morphing anyway. But I just really liked the flavor of it and the visual. In terms of a move that none of us used, because it's from a playbook that we only just dipped into, it's from the leader playbook. An impossible choice. When you give an order in battle, you can give one teammate 1d at the cost of causing an immediate consequence for another teammate. This is in addition to any regular roll bonuses the first teammate takes.
Wait,
The teammate who
pause.
takes the consequence may resist, but with minus 1d and may not be protected.
Excuse me. Dante gave 1d to multiple teammates.
That's not the. Oh, I see. I see. Man. Like Brian, just before we fucking came into this call, was just like, "Oh, what's on tonight?" And I still have no idea half the time if Brian is
Brian,
being
I'm
serious
gonna
or not.
kick you out of this voice channel.
That's fair.
Word.
Yeah, I'm really proud of that playbook move, actually.
That is one of the most fucking upsetting and perfectly anamorphs things in Idiot Teenagers with a Death Wish. Like, there are so many moves that are so evocative of the books, but that fucking impossible choice of like, you get to help somebody but somebody else is fucked over by your choice. It's just like, mwah, yes, the drama, the narrative potential.
There was at one point in time I looked at that particular move, contemplating taking it and seeing how many like of Benny's family I could knock off using it.
Right. Okay.
I'm always a fan of like looking into a mirror, knowing when people are lying.
It's so good. It's a classic.
Love to make your GM squirm sometimes.
That's also my favorite. Just its sheer potential for having one person who could see through everyone's bullshit.
And then what they choose to do with that information.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to its flip side of trust in me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unstoppable force meet immovable object.
Yeah, like, I think we only really had that fun, because I took trust in me for Kel, but I think it only really came into play once where it bumped up against Adrian's looking into a mirror, so it was fun.
Yep.
Oh,
Good stuff.
I want to quickly loop back, because that's just reminded me of something that didn't get to come up. Kel had a crush on Benny from the start. from the very start and before canon, because they had met him at gigs with the band, with his dad's band.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in knowing that that was the case. And it just reminded me of it because when we were in the ship in the fucking up in Canada,
Mm-hmm.
and we were playing Truth or Dare, and it was asked, does anyone have a crush on anyone else here? And Kel lied.
Uh-huh.
One of my favorite moments.
You can't see my face right now, but I'm just grinning so big. I'm like, ah!
But yeah, like the fact that the Dante stuff, because I wasn't planning on doing anything with it. I chatted to Richard a little bit about if he was okay with there being a previously established connection through Benny's dad. But aside from that, I was good. I wasn't planning to be there long term. I thought, oh, this will just add some color. And then, fucking however many arcs later, Dante is like asking Kel out, and I was there. I Jade, even though Brian had said, "Would this be okay?" I was still like, because anytime anybody flirts with me in character or out of character, my brain doesn't know what to do with itself. That's some character bleed for you.
My answer to the favorite move question is reinforcements. It's always reinforcements. I love it when a plan comes together. And I took that move a year before I got to actually use it, but I knew that that was the way I was going to use it the whole time.
Yep.
And by the way, come talk to me in the Discord server about my other thought of how I was going to use reinforcements before the show ended, because I'm really proud of that, and I'm a little bit bummed that I didn't get to actually do it.
I'll give a shout out to Mac being on brand, being the Cassandra fan geek that they are from day dot. I will call you out because I must.
No, I'm not. I don't feel called out. I'm just sitting here. That's
nodding in agreement.
All right. From Dirk, if you played Idiot Teenagers again, what playbook would you like to try?
So I wrote in the document strategist, but I'd also be interested in the mole.
I want to try the leader. I want to see what I can do. I want to see how fucked up I can get.
Oh, interesting. That's why I want to play the heart.
Yeah.
And let me show you how deep and dark that fucking yes, high-fiving Richard across the lines.
Why are Jade and I like this? I was also gonna be like, I would also play the heart.
This is why this is why we vibe at playing games. I also would love to play the Berserker, just because I really like characters that get to be a little bit unhinged, but August accidentally got there, or like through playing Adrian honestly, skirted up against it. I love Cassie the most in the books when she is at her most manipulative. I love the flip side to being so insightful and compassionate that you loop back round to thinking you know best.
Yep.
You can play a really nasty. It's very good.
Imagine Dante and Kel, but they have the powers of the heart playbook, and they're just tag teaming no NPC can withstand them. Like they're just they walk in and talk their way through every situation.
Look, any universe where Dante and Kel are socially adept risks havoc for anybody else. The universe nerfed them to stop being too powerful. Frankly,
it's funny too because Dante can lie, but he cannot talk. He's got the being able to lie through a situation because he needs that skill all the time for social engineering.
Whereas Kel is has high emotional intelligence, but isn't very good at verbalizing it, and can come across as blunt, which is why I think they and Adrian butted up against each other so much. which was a fun thought I was entertaining the other day. It occurred to me that if Ariel hadn't died, use the term loosely, I don't think Adrian and Kel would have gotten to the place they got to.
Yeah.
Which would have made me sad because I really loved where Adrian and Kel got to. But it took that loss of Ariel for those two to like bridge that gap between them. And even then, they're so very different in how they approach stuff. It was a real conscious act on both of their parts to like, now we're in this together. If Ariel had still been there the whole time, or in different set of circumstances, Adrian and Kel would have, it would have been as bad as Adrian and Dante, if not worse.
Yeah.
So.
From Izzy, was it fun helping playtest version 2 of the game?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun to break things.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I loved seeing the differences in how V1 and V2 played.
Yeah. I feel like I learned a lot from the way that y'all played, and I tried when I went back and was making a lot of edits to version 2, I tried to name at least one move after each person, because you gave me a very strong grasp on how people would play these archetypes.
Will you share with the listeners which ones? I mean, I know one of them off the top of my head, but I only know the one.
One is Dante's Inferno, which allows you to
Daredevil move, isn't it?
No.
No.
It's
Or is it different? Oh, it's different.
it's soaking. It's the thing that allowed me to like soak stress and turn it into like damage.
Yes, exactly.
So Dante too.
Yeah. There's the Eye of the Tiger. Penalties from harm are 1 level less severe. Let's see.
Beautiful.
I think I don't know if I named one after Adrian specifically, but I'm pretty sure Sundering kept its name because of Adrian. Dante's Inferno. I don't know that there's one for the Scout. Yeah, there are a few different ones. I don't think I succeeded in getting every single one, but I tried to use that inspiration of like how you were actually playing the archetypes versus what I knew the archetypes were, in order to make the moves better as gameplay. All right, questions about Animorphs. Is anyone going to start listening to the Esquivel Files or reading the Animorphs series from Dirk?
Not to interrupt Animorphs Talk with Gamers, I do have to bounce.
Word.
So I have extant plans tonight, so I am gonna jet
And cross.
just in time for me to dodge all questions about Animorphs. So
Have fun.
you will never know. All right, bye y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
I really want to listen to Esquivel Files and read the books, but brain's bad.
Yeah, that's super valid.
But I had been explicitly avoiding them because I didn't want that to influence how I played.
Yeah, there are some 200 hours of Esquivel Files to listen to. Because I'm unhinged and I made Jade unhinged.
I mean, I don't think there were hinges there, to be fair. I know Richard's listened to a little bit.
I think I'm up to episode 12 now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we start
just
yelling
how
at
much
Benny
we yell about Benny.
very early.
Frequently.
I really do like this question. What is something you think you know about Animorphs canon based on Dumb Kids? Also from Dirk.
Oh man.
That the Helmicrons are too powerful and Danielle's scared of them.
That the Elemist is a fuckboy.
You are right.
I suppose that's a fun one for the chat, but I think everyone who's currently in chat has read or listened along with Escafil Files.
Uh-huh. Yep. From Izzy, out of all the aliens introduced throughout the game, which ones were your favorites?
Taxons.
The Taxons.
There is a reason I wanted to be in the uneven orbits Taxon game so badly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I even though as characters they suck, the Arn, from a design perspective, are great. Though they will always be sexy Mothman now because of Brian, and I'm not mad about this. I am not mad about this at all. Also, I'm not an apologist for the Drode. I just love him because he's fucking awful.
He sucks. I love him so much.
He sucks so much. He's great. Little velociraptor dude out here just like a fucking Skeksis from the Dark Crystal, being like, my boss is so powerful, can get you what you want. And just reading everybody for a filth. It's just, love him. He's awful.
I, speaking of the drone, I had this idea in my head going into the final session because we had a get out of jail free card, right?
Yeah.
If shit went bad, but shit didn't go bad, or if shit looked bad, or if maybe we were in a situation where it was going to be dramatically interesting, but I had this idea in my head of like Dante dramatically invoking the name of the Drode, or what is it, Califrax, or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah, sure. Halifax, yeah.
Yeah. And the invoking that, getting the Drode there, and being like, I have beseeched you because we're in a really bad spot, and before it was too late, I just wanted to say, like, I figured it out. You're the grasshopper bad guy from A Bug's Life. That's it. I finally settled on it. That's the one that you are. You can fuck off now.
Yeah, that's assuming that. Yeah.
Go on.
That's assuming that Craig wouldn't immediately enact his plan the second you said anything.
To be fair, though, this is something I have asked Danielle about as we got further into the books. Like, because in the books, I don't think it's massively supposed to say Craig picks one member of the team to go after as sort of like the link in the chain, not necessarily the weakest link in the chain, but who could be the one that is his way in. And I was like to Danielle, so who is it in the Dumb Kids that Craig goes for?
Yeah, no, it's Benny.
Just. I remember being mad about them, mad at them about it. I mean, they were right, but like I was still mad about it. It's like, hasn't he suffered enough?
No.
I mean, obviously it would be Benny. God.
It's interesting to think about fanfic writers take note of the different ways Craig would have to try get in with the different group, with the different members of the team. Also, because the Elemist couldn't pick a favorite easily with this crew either, unlike the canon Animorphs. So there wasn't any particular, like, the most specialist boy. But then nobody got stuck in Morph, so the Elemist didn't have anything to offer. So...
Yep. To to Brian from Becky. Got anything you want to talk about creating music for DKPH or any of the other shows? Since you do the music.
So, I guess this is kind of like finally where I get to talk about this like particular creative process. So, like for I don't know, how long did we do DKPH? Like 4 years, 3 years,
something like that. It's been a while.
So for most of that time, basically the entire time for DKPH, I've been using a generative AI, ChatGPT. I'm like a member of the board of ChatGPT.
Brian, not even as a joke.
I don't know. I just literally, like, if you guys ever wondered what my creative process looks like, it's like I hit a keyboard till I get a beep boop noise that I like, and then I'll go with that if it's electronic. Or if it's for the intro musics, I listen to like a lot of music from like whatever year it was, and tried to like replicate that, but quick. The problem was at the time I had very shitty drum. Like the thing that's the funniest is like I was so mad at my drums in most of those because the cymbals always sounded fucking not real. Like it's easy to make drums sound real. It's very hard to make cymbals sound real. So like a lot of the like long sustaining cymbal hits at the end is me holding a single crash cymbal like slightly in front of the microphone and hitting it and then like putting that sample over top so it wouldn't decay correctly. Just me like listening to the song, just like wait for it. Shh. All right, good.
Yeah. It was really fun with the final episode, and I really appreciated it in the edit, Brian, that you put all of the theme music in order. Great way to pad out time, but also it was interesting hearing that audio journey and thinking about it in the context of the story and how well it worked.
Yeah.
It's good music. By Brian's music.
Yeah.
As long as Bandcamp still exists,
if it's still there, I gotta find a new home. It feels real bad. I have been putting Bandcamp music on Bandcamp for like 15 years. Like every piece of music I've ever written since Bandcamp started existing, like exists on Bandcamp, and I'm so fucking pissed that it's dying slowly on me, and I have nowhere to go with it. But I don't know, I just kind of like, a lot of times I'll write music, especially for stuff, because like we're working on delay. I have the advantage of being able to write music after listening to things, so I'll like listen to whatever the show, like I'll be editing the episode and I'll do stuff. A lot of times, like anytime there's interstitial music, like there's like a you know, some kind of emotional track underneath something, I literally just stopped editing the episode and went and wrote a song. Is usually how those work.
May Her Memory Be a Blessing is so fucking good.
That is the hardest keyboard riff I've ever played because I was at work and I wrote it using the keyboard on my computer, because Reaper has like a convert your computer keyboard to like a piano keyboard, and so I'm like hitting keys trying to remember what the fucking layout is because like they're completely different. Me trying to write a piano riff because I have this thing in my head. And then email, and like because I'm writing this on my computer, but like at one of my old jobs I had kind of like a boring office job, and so but I was able to have my own, like, it's like kind of a boring office job anyways. I did sort of a retail situation where I had my own computer, but I also brought my own laptop, so I would have my laptop there and then I would use Parsec to get onto my computer at home to edit episodes because that's where all my plugins live. And so I would, like, when I was writing that, I wrote that piano riff, converted it to MIDI, emailed it to myself, then was remoted into my other computer to like start actually working on the track.
Good, great. I also remember telling you for the very first theme, I had to give you some weird bullshit prompt. Like, I want it to start kind of hopeful and then slowly get darker and, like, also take in these sci-fi themes. And Brian just threw shit together and he's like, I don't know what the fuck this is, but here, try this. And I was like, actually, I unironically love that.
Yeah, the actual title of the the name of the file for the season 1 theme is I don't even know what I'm doing anymore .mp3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Incredible.
I really like it. It is. I feel like it fits season 1 very well. Going back to what Jade was saying, I think it really fits season 1 very well. And then I really love what you did with seasons 2 and 3 because I think the themes you wrote for those were incredible. Turns out Brian's good at music.
Yeah. Who would have thought?
Who'd have thought?
It's wow. It's like Brian was a musician before he did podcasts.
Wow.
Bonus question from Izzy back in the Discord server. What is Benny's favorite kind of boat? Just throw that to Richard and make him.
Wow. Oh, jeez.
Making me choose my favorite kid over here.
I know, right?
As we've established, it's the Howler ship. It's Becky's favorite kind of ship.
You said vote, so there's some.
I know. I'm just being a ship. What is a spaceship, really, if not a boat?
Yeah,
space boat.
But ruling out spaceships and restricting us to aquatic vehicles.
We took at least one of those underwater that one time.
Listen, you say that. I had plans for a Vote 3. I found a place that sells surplus military submarines.
Oh my god. Incredible.
But no, Benny actually really loved Boat 1.
Yeah.
That is such a unique boat of all the commercial votes I looked at when researching votes for Benny. That is just a weird boat concept.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone wants it, I can repost the fact sheet on that boat. But it's weird as a concept, and I just loved its versatility of, well, yes, it can, hot bug 30 people. And it's got a galley and a sitting room. But also it's a commercial fishing boat. So what is it?
Uh-huh. Very good. Very good.
All right, chat. Any more for any more?
Do any of our players have any last minute fun facts they want to share?
I don't know. There's a part of me that wants to say that Alma and Adrian's relationship lasts, but there's a part of me that thinks like some of it might have been, just like bonding because of the war, and like without the pressures of wartime, the relationship turns into something that's like completely platonic.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, like realistically that's probably the case, but in my heart I want Alma and Adrian to stay together.
Yeah,
that's my fun fact.
Alma will definitely stay with Adrian in some form or another as long as he lives, so. Androids.
They're just loyal to each other.
Yeah. The Chi just love dogs, man.
Sure.
Where you go, Brian?
Yeah, could I like... Okay, so you can't... If you, like, Nothlit yourself, yeah, you can't just, like, get a hold of that there cube again.
Mm-hmm.
And go, correct?
Correct.
Okay. But can I, like, hack aging? By, like, getting to be real old and then, like, Nothliting myself into a kid?
Yes.
Okay, sick. So that gives me at least some time to figure out that Nothlit problem.
Sure. I mean, you could also fistfight God about it.
I mean, I threatened to do so a number of times.
But yeah, that is something that you can do, and also something that is a hanging plot thread in the books, because all of the kids age, but Tobias's human form was acquired when he was 13. So does he stay 13 while his girlfriend becomes 16? That's a little weird. But it's also weird anyway because he's a bird. So,
We would all pay money to see Dante fight the Alarmist.
This is true.
That's true.
Yeah.
I would sell tickets.
I'd be so good at it.
Mm-hmm. Any other last minute? The answer to why, Dirk, is because I've literally wanted to do this kind of shit for years. And I finally got friends who were willing enough to humor me. And it became this. And it's great. And I cannot thank them enough for going on this ride with me.
It was a good ride, and this wasn't humoring you. This was genuinely wanting to have fun with my friends. So
yeah.
Listen, I was like a last-minute addition to this show. They were gearing up, and I'm like, I really want to play something as opposed to be stuck in GM world forever.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. With me today has been August.
hello, I've been August. You can still find me on Blue Sky at Harpydora, on Tumblr at Strange Harpy. This has been quite a wild ride. Like, the last episode was emotional, but I'm also emotional now because, like, this is the punctuation at the end of the sentence of Adrian's life. So yeah.
Mac has already left. You can find them in general on the internet at Citadel of Swords. Come talk to them on Discord. And we've also had Jade.
I'm Jade. You can find me on the internet at Jade Oxford Rose. Playing Cal, playing out this story with my friends has been incredible and a privilege. And hey, I'm getting top surgery in like 8 weeks. So if you want to throw some money at my fundraiser, it's pinned on both my Tumblr and Twitter. And you should give me some money so I can pay a very nice man to attack me with a scalpel while I'm asleep. It's going to be great.
Richard?
I've been Richard. Playing Vinny has just been an emotional roller coaster. And you can find me somewhere as Corvus Azure, but I'm pretty much off of everything except Discord these days. So.
And Brian.
Hi, it's me. It's Brian. You can check out our Patreon. It's roomwarepod.cash. Please join our Discord. The link is in the description of every Standing Stone show. And I just think that if Triple H and Tony Khan would work together, we could make so much money in the wrestling business and have so many cool dream matches. So. You gotta bring the jokes back after 20 hours or 2 hours. So yeah.
I've been Danielle. You can continue to find me on the internet at Redtail Talk 90. You can find this game that I wrote, Idiot Teenagers with a Death Wish, on itch.io at redtailtalk90.itch.io. And it's free. Go download it. Version 2 will definitely be coming out as soon as I get the rest of the art. It's happening. I've paid Izzy. I'm so close. And tell your friends about this fun thing that we did. And bully them into listening to it too, or bully them into listening to some of the other Standing Stones podcasts that we do that are excellent. Including Follow the Leader and The Room Where It Happened and Gay Space Rocks. Check us out. come join our Discord, come yell at us, come talk to us. We love talking about our characters and all sorts of things. Cool. Great. We love you all. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you to my players for being amazing. Peace.
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 Later.
Yo.